What's going on, everyone? Today's video is going to be about the Samsung Galaxy Note 7. Yes, this is going to be about the phone that's been exploding in people's pockets, on people's beds, on their nightstands, in their hand, on their face, in their shoe, and underneath their bed. Um, I'm just joking, by the way, but you know, this is the same reason why I stopped investing in any Samsung phones or tablets of that matter. When it comes to TVs, I've never bought a Samsung TV, but I know those TVs are pretty darn good and the picture quality is fantastically amazing. And I give Samsung credit for that. I did have a Samsung speaker, like one of those home theater speaker setups. I had a couple of those speakers. One of the Samsung device I had. I got the Samsung Galaxy Nexus, and I also bought a Samsung Galaxy S3. So those are the two phones that I had that were by Samsung, and that was the Samsung speaker that I had. And what other Samsung? I think that's it. I think that's about all the Samsung devices I've ever bought or ever owned. And here's the reason why. Because I know Samsung is cheap, and I know that when it comes to phones, they're bare minimum. Now I give Samsung the credit with the new Samsung Galaxy S6 and S6 Plus and the Edge. Those phones were built pretty well. I was like, wow, Samsung's using metal and glass and something other than plastic. About time. About freaking time. And I give them that. Applaud to Samsung. But then again, something told me, I said, well, you see, there's something just about it, because I've used those devices. There's something about it that's just, it still brings back that feel that it's still cheap and it's still bare minimum, bare bones. And when they throw out all these gimmicky features like heart rate monitor on your phone and iris scanner and the worst fingerprint reader on a phone to date, even the Motorola Atrix, that fingerprint sensor was better than the Samsung Galaxy S5 or S6 fingerprint scanner. I'm just going to tell you like that for a fact. I'm not being sponsored by anybody, nor Samsung or anything. I can speak freely as I feel. It's up to you to debate me on what I'm saying. But here's the thing. So I tried them out, played around with them, played around with the S7, played around, with the Note 7, and it was like, I was like, oh, this is, it's faster than it was before, but it's still laggy. I'm not buying into the whole S Pen thing. I know the Note is what, separated itself from the iPhone and all the other Android devices because of this pen. This pen is very useful. It has all these, some of them are useful features. But for me, people say, oh, once you get the Note and you have the pen, you can never go back to a phone that does not have the pen. And honestly, I've used it, and I really don't see the reason to have the pen. Like, I have never said, oh, let me just pull out the pen and jot something down really quick or write something out on the screen, because for the fact that I feel it's faster to just type it in Google Keep or type it in another note app. Or nor do I ever have the feeling of wanting to sit down and draw a picture on my phone. If I want to feel like drawing, I would either get a pencil and a paper to draw, or if I'm an artist, I would have a collection of colors, paints, and pencils and paper that I can draw on. But that's absolutely my thing. That's the thing. If you're going to be an artist on your phone, by all means, you can get an iPad. Or okay, I'd be fine if a tablet had a stylus. where you can draw and do all of that. Okay, I understand that. I get that. It's a bigger surface area, bigger screen, bigger thing. Everything is much more better. Instead of having a pencil and drawing on my phone, like come on. And then the person I'm sending it to probably doesn't even have a note or just a regular phone, Android phone or iPhone that doesn't come with a pen. So hooray, Samsung, another feature that I don't want. Now the Note has been having some battery problems to the point where flight attendants are saying, please, if you have a Samsung Galaxy Note, turn that shit off. Turn it off. Don't use it. Just turn it off. Users have been listening to the flight attendants and following the rules and turning them off, but yet still they're blowing up. Now that is a big security concern. With this happening, it can only bring up the notion of, well, what other drastic measures is the government going to take in terms of phones being allowed on planes? Are we now going to have to just completely turn off our phone, or put our phone in, with our luggage at the bottom of the plane? I don't know. I'm just speculating here. I don't know. But this, I believe, has brought a lot of attention to the phone market and the phone industry, and now they're going to be much tighter, especially new manufacturers and Apple and all are going to making sure that their phones aren't exploding, heating up and catching on fire, because that poses as a really big security threat to the lives of people on airplanes, in buses, or any type of vehicle, or just having them in their hand. That is a big problem. So, moving on from that, I would like to talk about Samsung and their policy behind these exploding phones. Now, it took them a while to finally do a recall to get this phone. They did a recall. I mean, if I was a phone manufacturer and I'm hearing that my phones are blowing up and there's multiple cases happening where it's not just one or two, it's 15, 20, and it's increasingly growing, right? So then I would, say, hey, excuse me for my voice, I'm a little bit under the weather, but let me do a mass recall on my devices. So one, yes, recalls do hurt your stocks and your profits and everything, but at least it shows that you care about your customers. Even if the person is not having a problem with the phone, take it away from them and give them another one. Or say, hey, instead of revising the Samsung Galaxy Note 7, I would just say, you know what? If you have a Note, we're doing a massive recall. Please send those devices back to us, because obviously if 20 to 35 people now are having this problem, and it's to the point where if someone owns a Galaxy Note 7, that they have to turn it off whenever boarding a plane, or if they're in a taxi cab, or whatever the hell it is. If it's to that point, I'm going to say, you know what, this isn't safe. I do not want my customers to have this. I know this is going to hurt my pockets, but give me every single device off the streets right now, and I'll give you guys a Galaxy S7 for free. Whoever purchased the Note will get an S7 for free. That is what I would do. If you purchased the Note, you gave it back, here's an S7. Or here's a Galaxy S6 Edge Plus, whatever. Okay, exchange the phone. Don't have the carriers do it, because that's not a direct relationship to the customer. You see what I'm saying? That will either, give the customer some sense of feeling, well, yeah, your phone is, disgustingly terrible that it's blowing up, but I accept your offer on giving me another phone. Okay? I would try to create some type of program for that to allow my customers to gain their trust, because the only thing you can gain over customers is their trust in your service. Not so much about the product. Look, an iPhone is not as good as a Note, but yet still it sells more than a Note. You see what I'm saying? It's because of the customer service and the relationship that Apple has with its customers. They make them feel wanted. You walk in there, they have a studio where you can learn how to use your iPhone or learn how to take pictures, or you're having trouble, you can come speak to someone face to face. But with Samsung, you have to go to Best Buy. We all know how they are over there. They're all like, hey, would you want to buy the new Samsung Galaxy S8? Da, da, da. Here's a new Gear Watch. Buy this, buy this, buy this. They don't care. There's no comfort. It's not a good area. It's not like a comforting booth where you can sit down, play on your Samsung laptop, or it's nothing like that. It's nothing visually pleasing, and other than having a bunch of AMOLED screens shine brightly at you, for you to get suckered into buying a device. So I said all of that about Samsung and the Note, and my problem is just don't buy the Note. They have to kill this Note line, because this Note line has been tainted with the feeling of, okay, the Note 8 is out. Is this gonna explode? People are gonna be unsure. People are not gonna be happy about it. Some people are still gonna get it if there is a Note 8, but I feel like they're gonna scrap this completely and rename. It's gonna be the Galaxy Pen phone or something. The Samsung Zeus, or something like that. Some weird name, but they gotta either kill the line, which I doubt they're gonna do, because they know they made a lot of sales off of that Note, and the S7s, they're not gonna be, or the S8 is not gonna be, that much of a crowd getter than the Note, because the Note has a humongous screen. So that's my take on Samsung and what they've been doing. As far as the Samsung devices, I know from the S3 when I had it, it was just very overheated easily. I had battery issues. Most definitely had battery issues. I've had a battery swell up on me before, and obviously I took the necessary precautions in taking the battery out and swapping it with a different one. Obviously, I went and bought a battery sold and made by Samsung to put back to my device, but yet still the battery life was terrible. So obviously, you have to do something with the OS. Obviously, I went and I factory resetted my device multiple times and still had the same problem. Something was just wrong with that phone. I don't know. I think Samsung purposely designed a factor or an age factor into the device to not last more than a year and a half, because that's how long I had it. And I got different phones from T-Mobile, swapping them and having the same problem. Okay? This is just a thing Samsung does, and this is how they are. Your phone, is good for a month, and then next month you're already hearing Galaxy S8, and you're just like, I just bought this one, But like I said, that's my take on Samsung and the Note series. It's tarnished. It's going away. They're gonna have to rebrand or just completely get rid of it. And for you Note lovers out there, I'm not throwing any shade at you guys. I'm not throwing any hate, but I just don't see the value in the Note, especially with the pen. But okay, it's just a pen. You don't have to use it. But I'm not a Note Samsung person anymore. After all of the dealings that I've had with their phones and lag issues and problems and battery and UI, bloatware and all this other crap that I don't use and all these other features that is gimmicks, I just toss them to the side. And that is the end of Samsung for me. I will never, and I say never, and they say never, buy a Samsung phone ever in my life, ever again. So the S3 is where I marked my stopping point. Obviously, if I went back and saw the newer devices that they had, but I still said, you're just as good as your last phone. And at the time I had the S3, it was so bad. S4, still bad. S5, still bad. S6, improvement, but still bad. S7, improvement, but I still don't want to get it because of the history that you've created. Okay? So, I have nothing against Samsung in terms of TVs, everything. I'm with you. I want to get a Samsung what is it? The Ultra HD 4K television soon in the near future. Once that $1,000 price tag drops down, because I feel like that's outrageous. But yeah. So when it comes to phones, I stick to HTC. You know, if they're making a Nexus line, obviously Huawei, and well, I pretty much stay to a Nexus. That's it. Solves all my troubles. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, comments, please sound them off in the comment section below. Once again, I am a YouTuber that just wants to interact with people. I just want to talk, open up discussions. You know, it's just this is what YouTube was in the past. You know, that's all I want. Just sound off. You know, have a discussion, talk to each other, make jokes, have fun. All right, guys, take care.